Let's go! Brian Flores is here to stay. With the head coach hiring cycle complete, Brian Flores will officially be back as the Vikings defensive coordinator in 2024.
Here are the top 3 reasons why Brian Flores' return could propel the Vikings to being a top 10 defense in this league.
3.
Checking in at number 3, Brian Flores knows, right? And what we mean by that is, coming into to this defense in 2023, coaching him up, by all intents and purposes, it was a massive success. I mean, some people were thinking maybe he'd be able to get us like top 25, top 22-ish, and that would have been a successful season. I think he blew that out of the water. We saw a very good stretch with this defense, throughout the middle third of the season where we didn't allow a touchdown for 3 straight games. So I think going into this next year with Brian Flores coming back, he knows what this defense needs to take that next step forward.
Exactly. And like when you mentioned, I mean, he played with these exact players for a whole year. Coming into last season, he didn't know these players, but now he knows them. He knows what holes we have in this defense, what players he can put in there, what players he can't, what players are going to be gone, and what, like you just finished to saying, what players he needs to bring in here to fill those holes.
2.
At number 2, he will have input on the players that will come here. He knows what holes he needs to fill. He can grab those type of players, and he is highly respected defensive coordinator in this league. So if I'm a defensive player and I'm a free agent, I look at Minnesota Vikings. First off, they need help. You know that you can come here and probably get a good role, but then you have a defensive coordinator that's going to come and get the absolute best use out of you. And one name right off the bat is defensive tackle Christian Wilkins for the Miami Dolphins, who I believe was Brian Flores' first pick in the draft when he was the head coach over at Miami.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the draft. I think that is where Brian Flores, in his input into what improvements his defense needs to make, I think that's when it's going to come in most handy. Just kind of being in Kwesi's ear, him and Kevin O'Connell, obviously they have meetings, they talk about this stuff. They both kind of have, I think they both have a very similar idea of what this defense needs for improvement. And so I just think when it comes to draft time and the combine and pro days and prepping for the draft, his input is going to be huge for this defense moving forward.
Dude, 100%.
1.
And the number 1 reason is it's all about continuity here. And that's something that I think is super important. I mean, obviously you see it year in, year out. A coordinator and his side of the ball improves, and that propels them to be a head coach. And then you see that next year with a new coordinator having to come in, and the defense has to learn a completely new defensive scheme. Right. It's going to be great for these guys who outperformed last year to an extent. And now they get to come in this year, same system, same coach, same coaching mentality, and they just get to build on what they did last year. And I think for this team that wants to stay competitive and still shoot for the playoffs no matter what happens at other positions, having that continuity on that side of the ball is going to be absolutely key to getting to that top 10 number that all fans are looking at with this defense next year.
Exactly. And I mean, you're taking it from the player's perspective, and that's what, I mean, from Flores' perspective, he came in and took a team that was dead last in scoring defense and came in this year and made them top 15 with the same amount of players. Honestly, you could argue less talent. So the fact that he's been here and with these same players and they'll have another year under the same system, under the same defensive coordinator, and a guy that is going to have a good idea of what this team needs and he can fill those gaps. I mean, you can only imagine this year with better personnel that he's going to boost us to a top 10 defense.
Absolutely, man. Brian Flores is back. We're happy about it. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time right here on the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikes.